start with King of the Mischievous South.
Right.
Is there some mischievousness in your history, like growing up as a teenager? I know you hung around with your brother a lot, hanging around with your dad. Were you getting up to fun kinds of trouble?
Yeah, I would say fun kinds of trouble. There was one night where we was we went to this dude's house and stuff like that. Well, we was really sneaking around his house, and then his neighbor came outside with a machete trying to chop us up. Yeah, that was wild. I remember that happened with me and my boy Mason and my boy Chris. This was like a long time ago when I was a kid, and we had to make up a lie and say like, nah, we thought this was our homie's house, and we thought that was his car, but that wasn't his car. We really came this close to getting chopped up, and it was in Cherry Bay. I remember that. Like, that was that. I remember when we was playing Manhunt, my boy Chris almost got stabbed because I jumped off a roof. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was hiding on roofs and all types of stuff.
And Florida's a bit like that because you got the space.
Yeah, Florida's intense. Growing up in Miami was crazy. Like, you kind of got to grow up fast and it's like high pace, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of slow a little bit.
When you left school, like what were the kind of options? What were people doing when you were like 15, 16 and people were leaving school?
Well, if you wasn't doing nothing in school, you wasn't going to be doing nothing after that. Or if you was trying to do something, you was going to try to do it. Some people get caught up in college life. Some people get caught up with jobs. And some people just get caught up in street life. And, you know, they're not here to tell a story right now. So it was just like different avenues. When I graduated, I knew I wasn't going to go to college. I already knew that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There was no side hustle or nothing like that because I was working on the album while I was in high school. Yeah. And then when I graduated, it took off. And then, you know, my life just kind of started from there, going to South by Southwest and getting some paper from the album, you know, and then going on tour with the Underachievers and like getting paid $500 a show. Yeah. And that was a lot of money for me at the time. And
still is for me.
But yeah, man, doing that and then like, you know, eventually like leaving my dad's house and living with a couple friends and stuff, which like pretty much famously became the ULT house because I lived there, X lived there, Ronnie J and a couple 12 Lynn, JK the Reaper, a lot of us lived in that house.
How important was it that you could bounce off each other and be creative together in the house?
Oh, it was fire. And then when we couldn't make the rent, we made up a party called the Vortex. And that was we would just do that outside of Kendall because I knew that's where all my fans was. So I would go all the way to Kendall to do this party out of my boy Rico, R.I.P. Rico. I would do it out of his what they call it, warehouse.
Yeah.
That he was renting.
How far away is that? Is that from your gaff?
Kendall is like way down south. That's where Puya's from. Okay. So we would go way down south, and I remember we would put the flyers up. Some Florida artists would come there too and just hang out and stuff.
You got to be industrious, like take your kind of future into your own hands. I mean, even when you get big, right, and or when you get the record deal, for example, or a management, you got to make sure that you're making good money and that you're not giving too much of your percentage away. And what's your story with that? Have you been quite smart, do you think, looking back?
I've been very smart with it. Of course, I sacrifice having the most amount of fame to have the most amount of money, but that comes with it.
That's it. You're like a solid, you know, you're like a career artist. I feel like that's like smart to be that way and not try and like be the biggest thing in the world, but to own your craft and keep on going. And you've got a fan base that keeps on growing.
Exactly. I would much rather grow with the people that stuck with me for this long than like try people that get me because I'm fresh and new and then they just going tomorrow, you know?
There's a lot of talk right now about like super fans and that kind of thing. But it kind of makes sense. Like if you've got 1,000 people that like love you, that's better than having 1 million people that that think you're pedestrian, right?
Because those people that show up for you gonna show up for you every single time. 1 million people that just know you for that one song and show up for that one song or on showing up for the song you made, not even for the person you are, what you've been through, something that they don't see as tangible that they can relate to. Just be like, oh, he made that one good song. I'm finna go watch him because this song is so fire, and that's it. They don't want to hear nothing else.
And even like cross genres, I saw videos. I didn't go, unfortunately. I've been to Outbreak a few times and seen the videos when he played Outbreak in Manchester. That's sick.
That set was crazy. And then that was the first time, funny enough, to bring it full circle. Well, it wasn't the first time me and Lil Ugly Mane did Twistin' live, but that was the first time we did it live and it was recorded like that and it was of that magnitude. So
that's sick. And like being at Reading, it's like it evolves. I think Reading and Leeds, that lineup evolves to reflect what people are into. Traditionally, it's like a rock festival, right? but it makes sense for you to be playing here, and it's gonna be like a good vibe. It's gonna be a good energy. People
Yeah.
want to mosh.
Yeah,
and
no,
people want to
it's-
sing along.
Yeah, I think that's what God blessed me with besides talent was just straight up energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just a ball of it. You
No,
know?
you're big into anime and books. You into Magic the Gathering?
Man, I just recently played that.
Yeah.
Like, how you know about what?
Our videographer is really into Magic the Gathering.
I only played it one time and with a couple homies on the grade A tour, but yeah, it was just like that was my first time playing it, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, it's a world, right? It's a world where you get lost into,
It's
or
kinda
not get
like-
lost into, but you get into it with your buddies.
Kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, I think.
Okay. I think I don't know any of this stuff.
You don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
Oh, nah. Never
Is
mind. Deep cut.
Yeah. Well, how did you get into that stuff? Who showed you that?
Well, my homie Kashawn showed me because he would play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And then he plays with like the crew guys on the grade A tour and stuff. When they're done working, they just all play.
I mean, I get it, even if I'm not like a direct fan of video games or anime stuff or those kinds of books even, but I get how that can work with music, because music makes you feel invincible. One Punch Man,
Yeah.
you know, like music can make you feel that way.
It could.
And that's,
And
it couples with it.
Music music is the most influential thing that's on this earth, you know what I'm saying? So like people are guided by music, by entertainment, by anything that's like media wise, like you know. But music is like number one when it comes down to that, because it can influence you to do a lot of stuff. It's dependent on what you're saying and how you take it and how you perceive it.
When you're on your own lane and you're building your own future, I can see that's quite like, you don't know exactly what's coming next. So when you're like writing a new record or writing a new track or going on tour, like visualizing how you want stuff to look, where do you start with that, with your like creation process? Do you wait for kind of inspiration to hit you when you're reading or watching something? Where do you think the kind of guts of your energy comes from?
Life, just me living my life, and then whatever hits me at that moment, that's what's gonna happen, what it's gonna take shape.
What's one of the recent things that's done that for you?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like watching his biography was like was one of those things that was like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
this is tight.
Hey, 101 part-time jobs. Have you had any side hustles when you were a kid before uni or college? When were you working any bits and bobs?
Me and my boy Shane, both of us had afros, and we used to do this thing called Afro Boyz Cleaning Service, and we used to go around the neighborhood and wash cars for $5. And if we get the $20, we'll order Domino's. That was the goal. The goal was to get the Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
So I had that mindset. I would just get Windex and like some stuff and supplies from around the house.
Yeah.
And then I would go out, and then he'll do the same thing. And then I would go around the neighborhood who wanted their car washed for $5.
Yeah, that's fun. It's fun, and you're making money.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of quick fire questions. Maybe some of them are dumb. You don't have to answer them. But
Go ahead.
have you ever fallen asleep at work?
Have I ever fought? I can't, because I got to entertain people.
Yeah.
In the studio, yeah. Out there, hell no.
Have you ever had a relationship with someone from work?
Like, what you mean?
Like if you're working with someone at like a restaurant or something, you go on a date with someone who works in the same place?
No.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Super bad idea.
Have you ever gotten fired? Have you ever
No,
been
I never
fired?
had a job a day in my life besides this one.
This is good.
And I'm not trying to get fired from this one.
No, that's fuck yeah. Hey, Denzel, good to chat with you.
Oh, already.
It's
Thank you.
art and it's energy. Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you, man.
If you enjoyed this chat, make sure you subscribe to 101 Part-Time Jobs for more. We've done episodes with Idols, Yard Act, Self-Esteem, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and so many more. We put out 2 episodes every week, and we'd love to have you there. Subscribe to 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere you get your podcasts.